Quiet power move? Mumbi Phiri's running mate slot with Makebi Zulu. There are no rallies. No bold announcements. No public declarations. Yet behind closed doors, a quiet political calculation may already be underway. Mumbi Phiri is reportedly positioning herself for a powerful role as Makebi Zulu's running mate. Is this strategic silence, or the start of a major political realignment? Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. Well, what a week it's been across the political landscape. We've been tracking several developing stories, but today, we're bringing you something that could reshape the power dynamics in Zambian politics as we know it. Our lead story tonight, the strategic alliance that nobody saw coming. Picture this, behind closed doors, in the quiet corridors of power where careers are made and broken, a conversation is taking place. A conversation about loyalty, about legacy, about one final gambit to reclaim relevance in a political arena that has left many veterans behind. The whispers speak of an unlikely pairing, two figures who have walked very different paths, now potentially converging at a critical juncture. Is this a desperate move by a fading political force seeking one last shot at redemption? Or is it a calculated chess move by seasoned players who understand that in politics, yesterday's adversary can become tomorrow's indispensable ally? What happens when a firebrand former patriotic front stalwart, once at the very heart of power, sets her sights on a running mate position alongside a figure who represents a different political tradition entirely? Is this about ideology, or is this purely about survival? About access? About relevance? And here's the question that should keep political analysts awake at night: if Mumbi Phiri, a woman who once wielded considerable influence in Zambian politics, who stood shoulder to shoulder with presidents, who commanded crowds and headlines alike, if she is now maneuvering for a running mate slot with Makebi Zulu, what does that tell us about the current state of opposition politics in Zambia? Could this alliance actually pose a credible challenge, or are we witnessing the last gasps of political careers searching for oxygen in an unforgiving arena? And most critically, what price would such an alliance demand, not just from the individuals involved, but from the very voters they claim to represent? Factual foundation. The revelation came to light through multiple sources close to both political camps over the past several weeks, though the groundwork appears to have been laid much earlier. Mumbi Phiri, you'll remember, is no stranger to Zambian politics. A former member of parliament for Chilanga constituency, she served as the Patriotic Front's vice president for mobilization and was widely regarded as one of the most influential women in Zambian politics during the Edgar Lungu presidency. Her reputation as a mobilizer was formidable. Love her or loathe her, no one could deny her ability to rally crowds and energize the grassroots base. However, the political winds shifted dramatically. Following the PF's loss in the 2021 general elections, Phiri found herself increasingly sidelined within her own party. Internal power struggles, legal challenges, and the party's overall decline in fortune left many of its former heavyweights scrambling for relevance. Enter Makebi Zulu, a figure representing a different political trajectory altogether. While details of Zulu's political background vary depending on sources, what's consistent is his positioning as someone outside the traditional PF-UPND binary that has dominated Zambian politics in recent years. According to sources who spoke on condition of anonymity, preliminary discussions between Phiri and Zulu's camp began as early as late 2024. These conversations initially focused on broader opposition unity, but gradually evolved into something more specific. A potential presidential ticket with Zulu as the presidential candidate and Phiri as his running mate. The timeline appears to have accelerated in recent weeks. In mid-January 2026, sources indicated that Phiri held meetings with key members of Zulu's political circle. By January 20th, multiple insiders confirmed that serious negotiations were underway, with both camps assessing the viability, benefits, and potential pitfalls of such an alliance. What makes this particularly intriguing is the strategic calculation on both sides. For Phiri, a running mate position offers a pathway back to political relevance and national prominence, a platform that has eluded her since the PF's electoral defeat. For Zulu, partnering with someone of Phiri's mobilization credentials and name recognition could provide instant political capital and access to networks that would otherwise take years to build. Direct evidence. Now, let's hear from those directly involved and those close to the situation. A source within FiRi's inner circle, speaking to us on background, stated, "Look, people need to understand something about Mumbi Phiri. She is not someone who sits on the sidelines. She's not built that way. After everything that's happened with the PF, after the way she's been treated by some of her former colleagues, she's looking at her options. And why shouldn't she? This is a woman who has given her entire adult life to Zambian politics. She has earned the right to explore any alliance that makes sense for her and for the people she represents." When pressed about the specific nature of discussions with Makebi Zulu, the source continued, "The conversations are real. They're happening. Are they final? No. Is there a signed agreement? Not yet. But the interest is mutual." Makebi Zulu understands what Mumbi brings to the table. She understands grassroots mobilization in a way that, frankly, most politicians in this country can only dream about. And Mumbi, for her part, she sees in Makebi someone who represents something fresh, something outside the tired old narratives. We also obtained portions of a conversation reportedly between FiRi and a political advisor, which occurred in early January. While we cannot independently verify the complete authenticity of this exchange, multiple sources have confirmed its general accuracy. Advisor, so what are we really talking about here? A vice presidential slot? FiRi, why not? I've been vice president before in the party structure. I know what that position demands. And more importantly, I know how to deliver. If Makebi is serious about making a run, he needs someone who can actually bring votes, not just ideas. Advisor. But the optics, Mumbi. People will say you're jumping ship, that you're opportunistic. FiRi, let them say it. Politics is about power. It's about being at the table where decisions are made. I'm not interested in being a footnote in someone else's story. If the PF won't give me a platform, I'll find one elsewhere. From Makebi Zulu's camp, the response has been more measured, but no less revealing. A spokesperson, when asked about the FiRi alliance, offered this carefully worded statement. Mr. Zulu has been engaged in consultations with a wide range of political stakeholders as he considers his next steps. Mumbi Phiri is, certainly one of the individuals with whom discussions have taken place. She brings considerable experience and a proven track record in political mobilization. However, no final decisions have been made regarding any running mate position or formal alliance. We are in a process of due diligence, assessing all options. When a follow-up question asked specifically whether FiRi was the front-runner for the running mate slot, the spokesperson hesitated before responding. I would say she is among the top considerations. Let's put it that way. Political analyst Dr. Bwalya Chibasakunda, commenting on the developments, told us, This is vintage Zambian politics, really. You have a situation where individual political survival is driving alliance formation rather than ideological coherence or programmatic alignment. Mumbi Phiri is a skilled operator. She knows her value. If the PF cannot or will not utilize her talents, she will find someone who will. Makebi Zulu, on the other hand, he needs credibility, he needs ground game, and FiRi potentially offers both. The question is whether this is enough to build a credible electoral challenge. Deeper analysis. So what does this potential alliance really mean for Zambian politics moving forward? First, let's consider what it reveals about the current state of the Patriotic Front. When one of your former heavyweights, someone who was instrumental in mobilization efforts, someone who carried the party's message to the grassroots, when that person is actively exploring options outside the party, it speaks volumes about internal dysfunction and strategic disarray. The PF has struggled to find its footing since the 2021 electoral defeat. Leadership battles, legal challenges facing some of its prominent members, and an overall crisis of identity have left the party weakened and fragmented. Mumbi Phiri's potential departure, even if only to explore other options, highlights this fracture. Reactions from within the PF have been mixed. Some members, speaking privately, have expressed understanding, even sympathy, for Phiri's position. One former PF parliamentarian told us, "We've not treated our own people well. After losing power, it's been every person for themselves." Mumbi gave everything to the party, and what did she get in return? Sidelined. Marginalized. Can we really blame her for looking elsewhere? But others are less charitable. A current PF official, speaking on condition of anonymity, was blunt. "This is betrayal, plain and simple. You don't build your entire political career on the back of a party, benefit from its structures and support, and then jump ship the moment things get difficult. If she goes through with this, she'll be remembered as an opportunist, nothing more." From the UPND government's perspective, this development is being watched with interest but not necessarily alarm. A source close to the ruling party's strategic operations suggested, "Any fragmentation of the opposition benefits us. If Mumbi and Makebi want to create another opposition vehicle, that just divides the anti-UPND vote even further. We're not losing sleep over this." But is that analysis too simplistic? Political scientist Dr. Mulna Kapwepwe argues that the impact could be more nuanced. The assumption that opposition fragmentation automatically benefits the ruling party only holds if voter loyalty is static. What Mumbi Phiri potentially brings is an ability to mobilize voters who might otherwise stay home, particularly women, particularly in certain regions where she has deep connections. If she and Makebi can articulate a compelling vision, they could pull support from both the PF and the UPND. It's a long shot, certainly, but stranger things have happened in Zambian politics. There are also ethical and procedural questions being raised. Some observers point out that political alliances built primarily on individual ambition rather than shared values or policy platforms tend to be unstable and ultimately disappointing to voters. Media commentator Grace Nsafwa raised this concern. What exactly does a Makebi Zulu Mumbi Phiri ticket stand for? What policies? What vision for Zambia? Or is this just about two individuals who want positions of power? Voters deserve better than personality-driven politics. The legal dimension also cannot be ignored. Zambia's electoral laws require political parties and candidates to meet specific registration and procedural requirements well in advance of elections. If this alliance is to become reality, significant logistical and legal groundwork would need to be completed quickly. Constitutional lawyer Mutal Chanda explained. If they're serious, they need to move fast. There are petition requirements, nomination processes, electoral commission deadlines, all of which require time and resources. A late entry into the presidential race would face enormous challenges. Perhaps the most unresolved issue is this: can Mumbi Phiri's mobilization skills translate to a different political context? Her success with the PF was built on specific networks, specific messaging, and specific organizational structures. Can she replicate that outside those frameworks? And for Makebi Zulu, can association with a figure so closely tied to the previous regime, whether fair or not, actually damage his positioning as an alternative voice? These are the calculations both camps are undoubtedly making behind closed doors. Thank you so much for watching today's edition of InspirAfrica Official. We'll continue tracking this developing story as more information becomes available. What do you think about this potential alliance? Is Mumbi Phiri making a smart political move, or is this a desperate gamble? Does Makebi Zulu benefit from partnering with such a controversial figure, or does it undermine his credibility? And most importantly, would a Zulu Phiri ticket actually represent something meaningful for Zambian voters, or is this just more political theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you, your analysis, your concerns, your hopes for where Zambian politics is heading. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories, more analysis, and more of the conversations that matter to you. Until then, I'm Nakash, reminding you to stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop questioning. Take care, and see you in the next one.